Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. And just before we get started with today's video, we want to thank everybody for subscribing. We really appreciate it, and it really helps our egos to keep doing this, making videos, and hopefully share experiences with you guys so you can take advantage of them. So thank you very much for that.
And we love your comments because we have several people who have commented regularly, and then if they have a channel, we follow them, and we just start having this rapport, I feel like. And we've actually met a few people on the road that our first introduction was through YouTube.
Yeah, so today's video, we're going to talk about Shenandoah River State Park, and it's just a few miles outside of Front Royal, which is kind of our home area for our home base. So we hope you enjoy this video. So Shenandoah River State Park is on 1,600 acres, and it has 5.2 miles of river access to the Shenandoah River. And it's very close to Shenandoah National Park.
Yeah, only like a 10-minute drive. And if you look at this photo here, and there's the river, and the campground is hidden right behind these trees. So this is from an overlook up on high, but the campground's right down there. And as a matter of fact, what you'll see now on the video is this little trail that comes out of the campground. And then you just cross here and look. There is the river right there. So it is like 2 minutes. I mean, it just depends on where you're at in the campground, but it's not a huge campground. So definitely get right to the river. And if you're lucky enough to ever schedule a trip here in April, this is when we were here, and oh my gosh, the Virginia bluebells are absolutely gorgeous. And even though they called them bluebells, there were some pink ones too.
And if you're going into the state park, and you want to go fishing, the Shenandoah River is known for some of the best smallmouth bass fishing in the country, especially on the East Coast. So you can take advantage of that from just a short walk from your RV over to the river.
Yeah. So this campground, like I said, it's not huge. It has 32 RV sites. The thing that I really like about these sites is that they're really deep. They're all back in, I believe. I'm pretty sure everything I saw was back in anyway. Maybe there's a couple pull throughs that are like accessible ADA, but they're huge. They're like really long. And then the other thing that I really like about them is, and you see this in a lot of state parks, I feel like, is you have that extra little side area. So there's room for people had set up canopies and tents. We just like to have the extra space to put out our chairs and sit around the fire pit.
And they all have water and 30 or 50 amp power. And there's a dump station there, right?
I'm pretty sure. We were so close to home, we didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure that there's a dump station there. And they also have bathhouses too, if you'd prefer to use those. And they even had laundry, and it was actually probably the cheapest laundry I've seen. It was only 75 cents a load.
Yeah, that's really cheap. I think the only place cheaper than that we've seen is on a couple of Navy bases where it was free.
Yeah.
But yeah, 75 cents is really good. If you're staying there for a while, you'll probably have to do some laundry while you're there. They also have cabins, and they also have some tent sites. So if you're not an RV camper, but a tent camper, there is an opportunity for you to stay there at the state park.
Yeah, and I think what we're going to do next time, like I said, there's enough room to even put a tent on your site, is our son and daughter-in-law will come out, and they are tent campers, so they can just be right there on our site with us. So that's also an option if you have extra people traveling with you. So the other great thing about Shenandoah River State Park, besides the river and the amazing campground, is that you could really just, I think, spend your entire 2 weeks as the max stay at any one time. And I feel like you could spend the whole time actually right there. They have 24 miles of trails. These are multi-use trails for hiking, mountain biking, and also horseback riding. As a matter of fact, they have like a little specific place for people to bring their horse trailers and park there. And the trails are really diverse. Like they are down at the river level. There's also up high where we are at the overlook. So it's some really good terrain. And then you can hop in the river afterwards if you're hot from a day of hiking.
And then they have a really nice visitor center. It has a lot of examples like taxidermy of the wildlife that is from the area, that is native to the area. So that's really good to look at. And then Julie has another favorite part.
Yeah, my favorite part of the visitor center was they had the birds that are local to the area, but then they had this computer monitor set up and it had pictures of all the native birds, and you could click on them and actually listen to the bird calls. So it was fun listening to that and then going hiking and then trying to figure out if you could recognize the bird call.
Yeah, and like we said, like here you see the Massanutten Mountains, and then across is Shenandoah National Park. And like we said, it's about a 10-minute drive. One thing that we will caution you on is that Shenandoah National Park is one of the more expensive parks if you don't have a park pass. It's like
$30.
Yeah, to get in. So make sure you get your National Parks Pass before you go. And if you have a big RV, Shenandoah National Park is not ideal because they have some tunnels that are only just over 12 feet tall, and the roads are pretty twisty if you are driving a big rig. So this is a great option to stay at if you are you want to go visit the national park, but you can't get your RV in there to camp.
Yeah, because like even our fifth wheel, I think is what, 13.6 with the air conditioner.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like I don't feel like it's massive, but it is pretty tall. And so we can't stay in Shenandoah National Park in our RV, but we can stay at Shenandoah River State Park, and it's only 10 minutes away. Also, it's not very far from the Luray Caverns, which we show in our video of the Luray KOA. But there's also a little bit smaller, but still very nice caverns called Skyline Caverns, just probably not even 5 minutes from this state park. And one final thing is Front Royal is known as the canoe capital of Virginia. I don't know what they had to do to earn that designation, but I have seen a lot of outfitters that actually take you out on like float and kayak trips on the Shenandoah River. So it's a gorgeous area.
And then one final thing is that if you're a history buff, there are lots of Civil War battlefields around here that you could spend all 2 weeks going to various Civil War battlefields and learning about the history of the U.S. through the Civil War. And so there's some very educational battlefields around here that numerous. There's too many to count really in this part of Virginia. So that's another option if you want to get out and do some things.
Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this video and this review of Shenandoah River State Park. Like we said, we think it's a beautiful place and it's a great option to stay at if you can't stay in the national park. And even if you can stay in the national park, to do 2 weeks there and then 2 weeks here, because all these public ones have limits, it's just a great choice, I believe. So please leave a comment below and let us know. Like we said, we love hearing from you, and we'll answer back and let us know what you thought about this state park, and if you have any other recommendations of great campgrounds that we should visit.
Yeah. And until we see you on the road, safe travels.